My name is Andrea, and this is my story. We really didn't have a choice whether or not we were going to go. My parents made us go. We had family Bible studies and all that stuff. So growing up, I knew who God was. I knew who Jesus was. I never really, questioned it because it was something that I was around all the time. At the same time, growing up, hearing about who God was and hearing that He was a deliverer and He was a waymaker and He was a protector, I believed all these things, but I really wasn't seeing Him protect or deliver or help my family or help my friends. So I was upset with Him. I grew very, very upset, and this was from probably elementary school all the way up through high school. When I graduated from high school, I went on to college, and I felt like I was free. And in that freedom, I felt like I could do anything that I wanted to do without my parents being over me, without worrying about going to church or not really worrying about praying. Like, I didn't have to worry about doing any of that stuff anymore because I felt like I was free and I had this I'm grown mentality. But in actuality, I was really stuck in bondage. In college is when I met my first boyfriend, and I had every intention on waiting to have sex until I got married because that's what I was, taught. But at this point, I didn't really care. I was like, I can do whatever I want to do. So I started, having sex with my boyfriend and things like that, and I thought that that would kind of be fulfilling for me, but in actuality, it really wasn't. I just still felt so empty, and I still felt sad, and I still felt like, how can I deal with these emotions that I was feeling? But he wasn't doing it for me. So I started drinking. I started drinking heavily. And, my goal was to get drunk and pass out and black out. And I got so excited when I couldn't remember what I did the night before. And it was just something that I just felt like could mask how I was feeling deep down inside, those emotions that I had, let manifest in my heart that I didn't know were still there. So I dabbled in that for a long time, and that still wasn't fulfilling for me. So I started one day randomly. I was like, well, I just want to see what pornography is like, and I just thought I was just going to watch it just one time and be done. But it ended up turning into a 5-year addiction. I was tired of what I was doing, and I needed to learn how to deal with those feelings that I had tucked deep, 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 deep down in my heart that I hadn't dealt with for a while. So I just randomly prayed that prayer. I wasn't on my knees. I don't really remember where I was, but I was just like, if you want me to stop, you're gonna have to make me stop. I can't explain it. The only thing that I can say is it was God. That's the only explanation. I can't take credit for anything. In that moment when He showed up, I instantly knew that I was delivered. I was delivered from alcohol. I was delivered from pornography. I was delivered from fornication. I was delivered from everything. I had no desire to do any of it. And it was like a supernatural type feeling. I just started crying, and I started praying, and I started asking for forgiveness, and I just started thanking Him for protecting me, because I know that it could have went completely different. And I had forgot about that small, simple prayer that I prayed months prior, saying, God, if you want me to stop, you're gonna have to make me stop. I feel like I was trying to be funny when I was saying it, because I didn't believe in the power that I had heard He had, because I didn't see it growing up. But in that moment, He showed me just who He was, and I was just overwhelmed. So it was in that moment where I knew that, okay, He is a protector, He is a deliverer, He is a waymaker, He is all the things that I had heard Him to be. I would tell the person who is struggling with addiction, who's struggling with pornography, who's struggling with whatever it is that they're struggling with, that God is able, and you don't have to feel like that you are going through this by yourself. God loves you, and He will and can deliver you from this. You have to keep trusting Him. You have to keep fighting.